going through as when I'm a student.
Shana Connor, and I'm studying media production at college.
So my name is Piers, and I believe we're here to talk about my dad and my family.
How long have you gone without this father figure in your life?
Definitely close to 17 years, getting on for now.
When I was 2, my father actually was already cheating on my mom. I have a big brother, so when I was born, he was hoping to be a boy again, but he wasn't. He was a girl. So basically, there was an accident where my mom actually caught him in the house with another woman in the bed. So she separated from him, and he's never actually wanted to be around me or speak to me that much. I mean, I barely remembering my childhood with him, but there was a time where I was constantly repeating his name and wanted to see him, but he just never wanted to. I mean, as a father, I don't think that he even knows my birthday and my age, but yeah, that's why. He's never actually wanted to speak to me, and when I grow up, I just decided that there's no point of me trying.
When I was younger, he wasn't actually that bad of a dad, which was weird, but he was just more of like a terrible husband to my mum. And then it just kind of progressed from there. And then as I got older, I understood more how much of what of a kind of person he was like. And then it was about when I was like 13, he had a new family and stuff. And then he got married into that. And she had kids who he was married with. And then he accused me of stealing from them when I actually never did steal from them. And from then he just fell out with me and he never spoke to me.
How did it feel knowing that he had like this second family that he just sort of went away to? Was it like freedom for you guys, or?
Not really, because I still had to see him on the weekends. And it was weird as well because he'd like pay more attention to them than me. Like I'd literally go on the weekend and literally just sit on the couch and watch TV and do nothing. So it was kind of pointless me going. So it was kind of like he had just already moved on. I was just kind of an inconvenience.
As I know, you're 17 anyway, so doesn't it feel weird? Have you ever actually seen him?
No.
So all you know about him is heard off stories. When did you get told about them?
About who he was?
Yeah.
It's an important moment, finding out who your dad is, but I actually can't remember exactly when my mum told me. It's probably sometime around when I was 12, 11 or 12, round about then. But she used to, my mum used to cry quite a lot when she used to like break down in tears, and tell me there's some things that she can't tell me. And I often thought that if there's a secret that she's keeping from me, which is forcing her to break down in tears, and it's got to be pretty serious. So it was stressful not knowing what she was holding back. And then when she told me who he was, she gave me some background, told me his name for starters, told me kind of what happened between them, why they split up. And really, that was it. I kind of had to push after that to find out more.
I mean, it was quite hard. I was 8, 9. My mom and my brother was talking in the bedroom when I heard them. So I walked in and I asked them to just give me a clear explanation, because my mom never actually told me that he left her. She was always saying, "Oh, your father's just on a business trip and he'll come back a couple of months after," and things like that, but he never actually came back. So, but it was quite hard. I was a bit more grown when I learned that he just didn't want a girl, he just wanted a boy. But it was quite hard and emotional. I remember this year, when I believe I was 9 when I found out about the fact that he never actually wanted a girl. So I was just sitting and doing my homework, and I knew that he just don't want a girl. And the same year, he he basically were already engaged with his girlfriend, the woman that he cheated with. So they were about to have another kid. And I remember just going to my grandfather, and I was like just sitting and asking him to give me more explanation about the situation, like why it's happening to me, like everyone else growing with their fathers.
But at the time I wasn't really that bothered because I was a teenager, so I was more bothered at the fact that I couldn't go out with my mates at the weekend. But then when he started to get a bit more mean to me, because he'd never been mean to me, I was kind of started to feel a bit sad about it, because I was like, well, why are you all of a sudden being mean to me? Because it's never happened before.
Did it affect you more like now than you'd say around the time when it started to happen more and more?
I'd say so, yeah, just because now I don't have a lot of family. Like, my mum's ill, like she's got brain damage and she's in a home and stuff, so I don't really see her as much as I could, and it's not the same anymore. All my family on my dad's side don't speak to me. Family on my mum's side don't speak to me. I don't speak to anyone except for my mum. Whereas obviously if I had my dad, I'd have someone else as a family member to fall back on, but I just don't.
When you saw people around you that still had that sort of classed as perfect family, did you like ever get jealous of those sort of situations or any sort of emotion towards them?
Yeah, like all the time, especially when people used to like complain about their dad and being like, oh my god, he's like so strict, or it's like he's so like horrible to me, when he wasn't really that horrible. I used to basically like say like, just be thankful that you actually have a dad that actually supports you, basically, because there's a lot of us that don't, like, to you it might seem he's being horrible, but he's actually just being supportive. Like, he's not letting you stay out till 11 o'clock at night, not because he's being horrible, because he cares about you.
I did miss it, you know. I think, but I mean, how can I miss something that I never had? I saw friends with kind of this like platonic standard family, you know, mum, dad, brother, sister, dog, you know, and I had this really like toxic association growing up where it felt like it was always, you know, these like complete families that always do really well, you know what I mean? As you know, it's always like dad's got a good job, mum's got a good job, you know, you've got a couple of cars, really nice suburban house, you know, it's all these kind of stereotypes that I can't even believe I fell for, to be honest. But
it felt a bit, the fact that my father wasn't next to me made my mom work constantly. Basically, she was the person looking after these two kids on her own, and she was the father and the mother in the family. So I felt a bit left behind, if that could be said, because other kids, let's say specifically nursery and primary school, they had their fathers next to them and their mothers at the same time, and I was on my own because my mom had to work constantly. My father never was there, so I was just me. It was just me, and it was like I felt that it was all my fault. After so much people telling me that it is, I started experiencing and think it is my fault. And after the years just passing by and more information coming to you, and just you finding the actual reason why everything's happened, I felt like it's not fair, but there's nothing that I can do. I mean, there's nothing that I can change as everyone else. It really felt a bit different, like you just feel like left behind.
When your mother took on two roles, did it eventually become a point where you two started to bond more, or is it still like the working situation?
It's quite opposite. It's quite opposite because for a person that's trying to do the both jobs and at the same time working constantly to make sure financially she can have a look at these two kids, I genuinely lost connection with her. My brother was a bit older than me, so he was trying to help her, but me, I was just a kid. So there was a lot of moments where I was waking up, she wasn't there, and I was going to bed, she wasn't there.
Take to him when you're like 5, 6, even, you know, even younger. But kind of when I got around to like maybe 13, 14, I was just so delusioned at the idea of, you know, having, treating my mum's boyfriend, any boyfriend, like a dad. I just thought, you know, what is the point? Because they just don't stick around. So, you know, I'm only doing more damage to myself latching onto them, because I guess from past experiences I was kind of conditioned to just think, well, he's not going to be sticking around long, so what's the point?
Did it ever affect your trust in people watching this constantly go on in your life?
Yeah, I think it obviously, you know, I trust my mum with my life. You know, she was the one who was there, you know, when my dad wasn't. So, you know, the trust was never really affected between my mum. I mean, you know, I suppose like any, you know, mother and child who went through rough patches. But no, actually, I suppose it didn't. I suppose that, if anything, like I kind of sought that human connection more with friends. You know, I've always been very like eager to make friends and to, I don't know, still try and see the best in people.
What would you say to people in your type of situation, growing up without this father figure?
I'd say it's a difficult one. Like, I'd like to say to them it's going to get better, but it might not. But one day you'll understand. That's the best thing I can say. I can't say if it's going to get better, and I can't say it's going to get worse, but one day you will understand, and you will find your way, let's say. Like,
don't give up. It's cliche, but no matter what you want to do, you know, your own goals, your own ambitions, at the end of the day, it's you that matters. So, you know, whatever you want to do, make a plan and start working towards it. That's you know, that is my overriding advice, I think, for anything, not just, you know, being without a dad.
Try to not blame yourself. Even though it's hard, try to not do it. Because people try to put the hate, try to put the anger towards these people that made the wrong decisions, as my father. But if you simply ask him now, did you make the wrong decision back then? He probably would say no. And I couldn't blame him, because that's the way it has to be. You just have to learn to accept it and fight. Because if you don't fight, then you're just sitting in that black hole and getting depressed, which happens. But trying to be positive, try to build something that you can step on, try to build a base. The base that you're supposed to have from your family, because you're not gonna get it. Just try to build yourself.